the former television pundit and Formula One team owner Eddie Jordan. They've said it's with profound sadness that we announce the passing of Eddie Jordan OBE, the ex-Formula One TV owner. He passed away peacefully with his family by his side in Cape Town in the early hours of the 20th of March.
The Formula One world is reeling from the devastating news that legendary team owner and F1 personality Eddie Jordan has passed away at 76 following a battle with cancer. In an emotional moment that has sent shockwaves through the racing community, Lewis Hamilton's father, Anthony, delivered a devastating message about his final interaction with the beloved Irishman and the poignant gift Jordan sent him just months before his death. Speaking live on talkSPORT just moments after learning of Jordan's passing, Anthony Hamilton shared the emotional details of their last correspondence. The last time I heard from Eddie was at Christmas time. He sent me a beautiful photo of him with his family, Hamilton revealed, his voice heavy with emotion. And I heard last week that he wasn't so well. This final gesture, a family photo shared during the holidays, now takes on profound significance as Jordan's last message to his longtime friend.
Very sad news today about former F1 team owner and broadcaster Eddie Jordan, who has died at the age of 76. Remember, it was as recent as December when he revealed that he had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer earlier in 2024. He ran his own F1 team between 1991 and 2005 before moving to a
Hamilton's revelation makes this news even more emotional. Jordan passed away peacefully in Cape Town on March 20th, 2025, surrounded by loved ones. Incredibly, he was still working until his final days, sharing his ambitions for the London Irish Rugby Football Club just 3 days before his passing.
Hi, Gould Hospital. As it happens, I've just come out of hospital. I'm in the middle of a chemo cycle, so I understand very well not alone what you're going through, but the audacity of closing you down seems preposterous to me when we need as many good people, good hospitals, good health care that we can lay our hands on. Because the most important thing in life is our health and the people around us who make it possible to enjoy the time on life that we've been given. So to you guys, I'm absolutely wishing you the very best.
The deep connection between Jordan and the Hamilton family makes this story particularly poignant. While Jordan famously gave Michael Schumacher his Formula One debut in 1991, he had recently maintained a closer relationship with Lewis Hamilton, the only other 7-time world champion in F1 history. Jordan had been an outspoken supporter of Lewis, even advocating for his knighthood years before it became a reality. Anthony Hamilton's tribute reflected the personal bond he shared with Jordan beyond the racing world. He was a good friend, Eddie. He liked his sailing, as we all know. When he used to visit the Caribbean, I used to put him in touch with my friends and family friends out there. I used to look after him, Hamilton shared, providing a glimpse into their friendship outside the F1 paddock. So yeah, he'll be hugely missed. The revelation about Jordan's Christmas photo carries extra emotional weight considering what we now know. Jordan had been battling prostate and bladder cancer for the past 12 months. This means the family photo he sent to Anthony Hamilton was taken during what would be his final holiday season, making the gesture all the more meaningful. Diagonal Comms managing director Matt Bishop, a former McLaren executive and longtime friend of Eddie Jordan, shared his reaction to the heartbreaking news.
I hesitate to say it, but were you half expecting it? As I said in the introduction, as recently as December, Eddie himself revealed he'd been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer earlier in 2024. Was this the news you were dreading?
I suppose that's a good way of putting it. Yes, it didn't come as a surprise, but it did still come as a shock. I mean, I knew Eddie for more than 30 years. And I was a journalist when I first knew him, a Formula One journalist. He was always a fantastic interview. Actually, it's relevant this. I was the only gay in the Formula One village in those days. Believe it or not, that's how I was often referred to. And Eddie was one of the first senior Formula One people to embrace me without giving my sexuality a second thought. I loved him for that. Great.
Jordan's impact on Formula One cannot be overstated. His eponymous team, which competed from 1991 to 2005, punched well above its weight, securing 4 Grand Prix victories and even challenging for the World Championship in 1999 with British driver Damon Hill. His eye for talent was legendary. Beyond giving Schumacher his break, Jordan helped launch the careers of numerous drivers and engineers who would go on to define the sport. Beyond his flamboyant public persona, Jordan had a lesser-known compassionate side that made his bond with families like the Hamiltons all the more significant. As motorsport journalist James Allen revealed on talkSPORT Breakfast.
Good morning, James.
Good morning, James.
How are you? I imagine you're very broken by this news today.
Yeah, I'm really sad. I knew Eddie very, very well and had a lot to do with him over the years, both when I was commentating with ITV and as a journalist. And also, I was also a patron with him for many years at Click Sergeant, the Children's Cancer Care Charity. And Eddie and his wife, Marie, raised millions and millions of pounds for what they call home away from home, which is when families have got children being treated, for example, in London for cancer, but they don't come from London. Where do the families stay? And Eddie and Marie raised millions and millions of pounds to buy properties around Euston, around Great Ormond Street and things.
Allen explained how Jordan and his wife purchased properties around hospitals to create comfortable environments for families during difficult times. That's the sort of side of Eddie Jordan that people don't know, Allen noted, contrasting this with Jordan's public image as a very flamboyant character and unbelievable wheeler dealer.
The side they do know is a very flamboyant character, born in Dublin, used car dealer, carpet salesman, tried his hand at racing, was pretty good, but not realized he wasn't going to be good enough to make it as an F1 driver himself. Started his own team, unbelievable wheeler dealer.
Jordan's connection to Lewis Hamilton extended to some of the most significant moments in the driver's career. As Horner pointed out, he broke the news about Lewis going to Mercedes from McLaren, referring to the bombshell 2012 announcement that would ultimately lead to 6 of Hamilton's 7 world championships. Jordan's insider knowledge and connections throughout the paddock made him a uniquely influential figure in F1 circles. The family photo that Jordan sent Anthony Hamilton serves as a reminder of what truly mattered to the F1 legend. Despite his larger-than-life personality and business success, Jordan was first and foremost a family man, husband to Marie, and father to 4 children. In their statement announcing his passing, the family noted, EJ brought an abundance of charisma, energy, and Irish charm everywhere he went. We all have a huge hole missing without his presence. Let's see what Brundle said.
It's really sad, and then, of course, we all start sharing stories. And I've just done an interview with Andy Stevenson, for example, who's at Aston Martin. The Jordan team became the Aston Martin team of today through its various iterations. And Andy worked for Eddie 37 years ago. And Andy made a very important point that it wasn't just drivers who he spotted and encouraged, and brought into the world of Formula One. It was also mechanics and engineers and everybody. And that was a very pertinent point, I thought. So Eddie was a great character. And Andy finished with, and you'll see it on Sunday when we take a bigger look at Eddie's life and career.
This sentiment was echoed by Anthony Hamilton, who described Jordan as one of the biggest characters of F1 who would be sadly and sorely missed. The emotional tribute from Hamilton, delivered in the raw moments after learning of Jordan's death, has resonated deeply throughout the racing community, providing a glimpse into the personal relationships that exist behind the competitive facade of Formula One. Eddie Jordan's passing comes at a tough moment for Lewis Hamilton as he navigates his final season with Mercedes before his highly anticipated move to Ferrari in 2025. A longtime supporter of Hamilton's career, Jordan won't witness this next chapter unfold. Known for bringing a rock and roll energy to F1, Jordan's legacy extends beyond team ownership to his fearless and charismatic presence as a pundit. His sharp questions and Irish charm made him a fan favorite because, as Christian Horner put it, he was Eddie and we loved him. The revelation about the Christmas photo exchange between Jordan and Anthony Hamilton offers a bittersweet glimpse into the personal side of Formula One. the friendships and connections that transcend the competitive nature of the sport. In a world often dominated by technical regulations, performance metrics, and corporate interests, it's these human moments that remind us of what's truly important. As the Formula One community prepares for the upcoming Chinese Grand Prix, there will undoubtedly be tributes and remembrances for the man who helped shape the modern era of the sport. For Anthony Hamilton, however, he'll have that final Christmas photo, a beautiful image of Jordan with his family that now serves as a lasting memory of a friend who made an indelible mark on both the Hamilton family and Formula One as a whole. Anthony Hamilton's story shows the strong friendships in Formula One. Eddie Jordan's impact will live on through the drivers he helped and the fun he brought to the sport. His bond with the Hamilton family reminds us that friendships matter most. In the fast-moving world of Formula One, where every decision and tiny detail can mean the difference between winning and losing, even the most experienced champions can run into unexpected challenges. The 2025 Australian Grand Prix was a perfect example of this, as Lewis Hamilton's much-anticipated first race with Ferrari did not turn into a story of victory. Instead, it became a lesson in the complexities of teamwork and communication, showing just how crucial these factors are in the high-stakes environment of motorsport. The union of Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari was heralded as a monumental shift in the racing landscape. Fans and pundits alike envisioned a symphony of speed and strategy, with Hamilton's unparalleled skill harmonizing with Ferrari's storied legacy. However, the Australian Grand Prix served as a stark reminder that even the most promising collaborations require time to mature. Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari debut turned into a masterclass in frustration. From radio clashes with his new race engineer to a questionable strategy call in the rain, this race had it all. We'll break down the key moments, analyze the fallout, and see what this means for Hamilton and Ferrari moving forward. Let's get into it. It all started with the radio. Lewis Hamilton, known for his laser focus during races, found himself in a back and forth with his new race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Adami, who previously worked with Sebastian Vettel, was trying to guide Hamilton through the race, but Hamilton wasn't having it.
Please. But with timing there, but good work.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but at least we didn't come home to the end and keep pushing.
The tension peaked when Adami repeatedly reminded Hamilton to use the K1 button, a setting that helps with overtaking. Hamilton's response: "Leave me to it, please. Just leave me to it with the DRS. It's not an issue." This wasn't just a one-off. Throughout the race, Hamilton seemed frustrated with the level of communication, at one point snapping, "I'm not close enough. When I'm close, I'll do it." It's clear that Hamilton, who spent 12 years with his former engineer Bono at Mercedes, is still adjusting to Adami's style. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Hamilton. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur admitted after the race that the team needs to improve its communication. It was not the issue of Lewis, it was the issue of the team. We need to find the level of communication between the team, the drivers, and engineers, Vasseur said. If the radio drama wasn't enough, Ferrari's strategy during the race left everyone scratching their heads. As rain poured down at Albert Park, Hamilton and teammate Charles Leclerc were left out on slick tires, a decision that backfired spectacularly. Hamilton, known for his ability to adapt to changing conditions, immediately called out the danger. "It's too dangerous. We have to stop," he said over the radio. But by then, it was too late. The track was soaked, and Hamilton struggled to keep the car on the road, eventually finishing 10th. This wasn't just a bad call, it was a missed opportunity. Hamilton didn't join Ferrari to fight for points, he's there to win, and this kind of mistake, it's exactly what he left Mercedes to avoid. The fallout from this race has been brutal. Fans took to social media to roast Ferrari's strategy, with one user saying, "Adami was about to key the mic and tell 44 that Piastri was approaching the corner from the outside line, but then remembered to just leave 44 to it." Another commented, "Hamilton's frustration is going to go through the roof, and I think may cause a mental breakdown for him. There are signs there already. Professionals at Ferrari are not servants that will put the toys back in the pram for him at his command." Executives at Ferrari need to make this very clear like yesterday. If it turns into a full-blown War of the Roses, it ain't going to be a successful bid for the WDC. The competitor's picador has already begun his work. Better get it together this week. Analysts were equally critical. Former F1 driver Karun Chandhok pointed out that Hamilton and Adami need time to build their relationship. They are still at round one. They need to find their feet, he said. But not everyone is writing Ferrari off just yet. Hamilton himself praised Adami after the race, saying, "Ricciardo did a really good job. We're learning about each other bit by bit." Still, the pressure is on. Ferrari spent big to bring Hamilton in, and this rocky start isn't what anyone expected. Let's not forget, this is Lewis Hamilton's first season with Ferrari after 11 years at Mercedes. Transitioning to a new team is never easy, especially when you're used to a certain way of working. At Mercedes, Hamilton had a near telepathic relationship with his race engineer, Peter Bono Bonington. They knew each other inside out, and that trust was built over a decade. With Ferrari, Hamilton is starting from scratch. As Chandhok noted, if we had access to the 2013 Mercedes radio, he and Bono wouldn't have been flowing as they were years later. This is a process, and it's going to take time. But for a driver of Hamilton's caliber, patience isn't exactly a luxury. So what does this mean for Ferrari? Well, it's clear that they have work to do. The team's communication issues and strategic missteps are nothing new. But with Hamilton in the mix, the stakes are higher than ever. Hamilton didn't join Ferrari to play second fiddle. He's there to win championships. And if Ferrari can't get their act together, this partnership could turn sour fast. But here's the silver lining. It's only round one. There's plenty of time to iron out the kinks and get back on track. As Hamilton said, "I think Ricciardo did a really good job. We're learning about each other bit by bit. We just need to, after this, we'll download. We'll go through all the comments, things I said, and vice versa. And generally, I'm not one that likes a lot of information in the race. Unless I need it, I'll ask for it, but he did his best today." As the season progresses, all eyes will be on how Hamilton and Ferrari evolve from this experience. The journey to the top is seldom a straight path, but with introspection and adaptability, this partnership holds the potential to redefine racing excellence. The debut race may not have been the fairy tale start that fans hoped for, but it laid the foundation for a narrative rich with challenges and triumphs. As Hamilton and Ferrari work through these initial hurdles, the racing world watches with bated breath, anticipating a resurgence that could etch their collaboration into the annals of motorsport history. Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari debut was tougher than expected, marked by tense radio exchanges and strategic missteps. Adapting to a new team comes with challenges, but his experience and determination suggest these early struggles will only drive him towards success. One thing's for sure, Hamilton isn't going to settle for mediocrity. If Ferrari can rise to the occasion, this could still be a match made in heaven. But if not, well, let's just say the pressure will only keep building.
Sector 3, the wettest.
Is more rain coming?
Negative. Just this. Hopefully. Let's see. Still raining in the pit lane.
Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari debut at the Australian Grand Prix didn't go according to plan. The seven-time Formula One world champion finished 10th in his first race with the Italian team. Hamilton described the experience as a big crash course after a challenging day in Melbourne. The highly anticipated debut marked the beginning of a new chapter for Hamilton. After his significant move from Mercedes to Ferrari, Ferrari fans had high expectations, but Hamilton's first outing in the iconic red car proved more difficult than many anticipated. The Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne served as the season opener for the 2025 Formula One Championship. Hamilton qualified in 8th position on the starting grid, showing promise, but not the dominance many had hoped for. The British driver spent the first half of the race running in 8th position, unable to advance as he found himself stuck behind Williams driver Alex Albon. The race took a dramatic turn when a mid-race safety car period bunched up the field ahead of a heavy rain shower. Most teams made the strategic decision to pit their drivers due to safety concerns as the track became increasingly treacherous. Ferrari, however, kept Hamilton out on track. They informed the multi-time world champion over the radio that it would only be a short spell of rain. This decision initially seemed to pay off as Hamilton rose to 3rd place and even briefly led the race. However, the conditions soon deteriorated, becoming too slippery for slick tires. This forced Hamilton to eventually pit. In the closing stages of the race, the Ferrari driver was overtaken by McLaren's Oscar Piastri on the final lap, ultimately finishing with just 1 point. The race ended with Hamilton crossing the line 22.243 seconds behind winner Lando Norris. It was a disappointing result for a driver accustomed to standing on the podium. Following the race, Hamilton spoke candidly to reporters about his experience. He said this: "As per the New York Times, it was definitely a big crash course. I'm just grateful I kept it out of the wall." The British driver revealed he felt in the deep end as he had not driven the Ferrari car in wet conditions prior to the race. This lack of experience significantly impacted his confidence in the car's handling.
It's very tricky and went a lot worse than I thought that it would go, and the car was really hard to drive today. So I mean, for me, I'm just grateful that I kept it out of the wall because that's really where we wanted to go most of the time. But
Hamilton also commented on the difficulties of adjusting to the new car.
But a lot to take from it, and also just getting acclimatized to the new power unit in the wet conditions, all the settings that it requires, a different way of driving, a different setup on the steering wheel.
He admitted lacking confidence throughout most of the race, explaining, "I didn't have any confidence in the car and was nearly in the wall most of the time." Despite these challenges, Hamilton remained optimistic about the car's potential. "I do believe the car has more performance than we were able to extract this weekend." He plans to make changes to the car setup for the next race, saying, "I've learned a huge amount this weekend. There's a lot to take away from it. I've got some changes I've got to make for next week, and I'll see how it goes." The race highlighted communication problems between Hamilton and his new race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Ferrari's decision to keep Hamilton out during the late rain shower proved costly. The team told Hamilton it would be a short shower, leading him to stay out on slick tires while other drivers pitted for intermediates.
We tried to, but I mean, the information I got was that it's just a short shower, real quick. And at the time, it was only in the last corner, so for me, I was like, the rest of the track was dry. I can keep this on track if that's all that's coming, and then more came.
Hamilton explained the situation. After coming into the pits and realizing how far down the order he had fallen, Hamilton told his race engineer on the radio it was a missed opportunity for the team. Throughout the race, Hamilton's radio interactions with Adami were notable. As he struggled to make progress, Hamilton could be heard repeatedly saying, "Leave it to me," to Adami after being offered guidance from the pit wall.